Hey friends, thanks for joining us. Help us out. Smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everyone's favorite, TikTok.
Hoorah. Don't forget to leave a review and a rating on podcasts. We need them. 5 stars.
Yeah, for sure.
Please. We got some NHL talk. We got a lot of Winnipeg talk, obviously Blue Bomber talk, CFL talk, NFL talk, some crazy hot topics. But let's start off with the Winnipeg Jets. I'll start off. The week that was a reality check. We were talking like a couple minutes ago about my favorite quotes. They are who we thought they were.
Afraid to bang the table.
Yeah. So no, I'm going to break the sound or something like that. I don't drop my drinks. But running this group back was foolish, and it reeks of laziness and just not caring. It's true. They did nothing. It's reality check. This is the group that they have. Obviously, they didn't change anything. It's still a toxic. They're giving up. They looked horrible. There's no energy. They're a rudderless ship. There's no leaders. It's a reality check. That's what the week was.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have actually bought into this team when I finally did. Right, I was so on the fence or on the other side of the fence for so long, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm on the bandwagon, and then
yeah, someone give him a boot. Someone give him the boot to the face.
I blame you for keep asking me all the time. So
hey, I had to put the pressure on, and then look what happened.
To me, this week was a disaster. I mean, we weren't expecting maybe a lot out of Carolina, Boston games, but we were expecting something out of Nashville and St. Louis, and both those games were terrible. I know they got the win in Nashville, but it wasn't a good effort. They actually didn't play bad against Nashville, but no. when your goal scorers are so cold, you're not going to win very many games, and they got shut out two times in the last 4 games. You know, you're not winning very many. Where are these guys? Like you say, I think they've quit. They've checked out.
Absolutely.
You know, some of these guys are like, they haven't scored in weeks. You know, Wheeler hasn't scored in what? A long time. I have it here. 16 games. 16 games. Connor has got 3 goals in 22 games. Dubois, where's he been? I know he's been hurt, but he still hasn't nothing in a long time. So terrible week, disaster of a week. It's hurting their playoff chances if they even have any. You know, even if they make it, I'm saying like they don't have a chance in that first round.
No, like this, the hockey team exists because of this totally old boys club mentality of being loyal until it's harmful. You know, sticking with this toxicity of a dressing room. You know, they're lucky they came out of Nashville with a win. You know, Pionk had that crazy game where he went from the outhouse to the penthouse, and they looked horrible against the Blues. Like defeated, tired, emotionless, and rudderless. You know, talk about a rudderless ship. I'm going to go to Twitter. Shout out to at CrayBay_27. They ask if Bonus ever answered questions post-game that there were on Twitter, what would you ask? My question would be, who are the leaders in the locker room and why aren't there any?
Exactly.
Rudderless ship.
And that goes back to, I believe it was the Carolina game where Scheifele and Connor both refused to speak with the media. And Nino Niederreiter came out and spoke with the media instead.
Yeah.
To me, sorry, you want to be a assistant captain or a possible captain of this team, you step up to the mic when things are going bad. And for me, that's got to be Scheifele, man. Like you want to step up, you want to make dividends or repair any image from last season where you went out complaining, you know, at the press conference, and we give you the benefit of the doubt. Come out and do these press conferences. Stand up there like a man kind of thing, I guess, and speak to the media and let them know what's going on. Yeah. But he didn't, and then he didn't follow it up with anything better in the Boston, Nashville, or St. Louis game.
Yeah. Well, maybe because the last time he did a press conference, he sounded like a total ass, not being sure if he wants to be here even. Like, why didn't they? A lot of people now want Wheeler and Scheifele traded. Well, a lot of people were asking for that last season. Look what happened. What a joke. Reality check last week. This is the team we have. I'm sorry. And like you said, even if we go into the playoffs, it's going to be a disaster. They're going to get stomped.
Well, that's the thing. Like they should have cleaned house. If you're gonna do this right, do it right. Last year, clean house. Yeah. I mean, as much as it is, get into the Bedard sweepstakes. Like this is the perfect year to blow it up. and try and get a generational player if that was going to happen or not, right?
Absolutely.
Wheeler should have been traded at some point. And I know he started off the season, had a very good start to this season, but just like every Jet, he's checked out.
Yeah.
Right. Even the fact is the penalties, like he's just not there giving full effort on that puck, that he is taking weak penalties. It was late in the game yesterday where he took a tripping penalty.
Yeah.
And the goalie was pulled. It's like, come on, man. Like, be a hard of the puck. And to me, why are you even on the ice? Why is Ehlers on the bench?
There's no point in that.
He's the only one that's really scored on that top 6 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I was about to say those penalties aren't a coach's fault, but those line decisions are horrible coaching, horrible decision making.
The power play went 0 for 13.
Oh,
but yet you still ended up putting the same power play out. Ehlers gets second power play unit, even though the guy, he actually scored some goals. He scored a beauty against Nashville, and he scored against Carolina as well. But yet he's getting shoved to the bench when it matters most. And you're putting the same guys out there. You need a goal, and you're putting the one guy that scored out not out there. So,
and he's being put on the bench because of his defensive liabilities. But Kyle Connor has been playing horrible defense. Mark Scheifele has been playing horrible defense. Where's their accountability? There's not consistency there. Who's going to buy into a coach who's not consistent?
No, you can bench these guys like Bonus has done in the last week. He benched Scheifele against the Carolina game.
Yeah,
but then you're going and you're putting them out, him and Connor out in overtime against Nashville anyway. So what kind of message are you sending? Especially with Connor, he's snake, but he hasn't scored in a while. And his defensive play, he is the type of guy that obviously if he's scoring, you can overlook the defensive lapses. But when he's not scoring, which he is not lately, those defensive lapses are huge. And it's been highlighted quite a bit this past week where he's just lost. Defensively, the Jets sometimes get lost in their own zone.
Oh,
they don't know who to cover.
Horrible. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I'm just getting frustrated talking about this team. Like we talk about no heart, and we seeing Ehlers getting bounced around in a game, and he has to step up himself and fight against Shen. You believe that? No one on that team is going to step up on that same line of his and protect this little dude.
We've seen it before where he's fought guys bigger than him, and he usually handles himself pretty well. But like you're saying, I agree. Like he should not be the one looking for this fight at all. But maybe he thought, hey, this is I got to give this team a spark. I got to wake them up, and that's what he tried to do, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Not only did he get beat up, but he didn't work.
There's no spark.
No.
Talking about like sparks and reasons to fight. Does fighting still have a place in hockey?
I don't really think so. I mean, in case, of something horrible, like a bad hit kind of thing, and someone wants to get back at someone for that, fine. I don't like the core or the clean hits that end up leading to a fight. It was a clean hit. There's no problem with that. You can clearly see it was a good hit. There doesn't need to be a fighting. So to me, I don't watch hockey really to see a fight.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't have a place really anymore.
I see.
So
I think it does. It absolutely does. Until the referees and the leagues get serious about fining and penalizing these players for physical play that's unnecessary, they have to police themselves.
Yeah.
They have to. Why isn't there fighting in the NFL with QBs? You know what happens when you fight in the NFL? 37 grand for the first fight, 74 grand for the second fight. You get a roughing the passer, 15 grand the first time, 21 grand the second time. Where's that in the NHL? If the league and the officials aren't going to protect people, especially our star players, it has to be there to protect them. Like, where would players like Gretzky, Howard, Chuck Solani, Bure, even McDavid at a certain point be if people were taking liberties with them? I think you have to have it until the league is responsible enough to find players and come heavy on them.
I will agree in certain situations, it's warranted, and that's fine. But the little petty fights or the fights on clean hits, like that stuff needs to go. I agree with you though, in a sense. Though I would love to see people not do the headshots, and there's times where it just happens. It's a fast game and it happens, but there's so many times where it's intentional, and you can tell it's intentional. And it's like, what are you guys doing out there? You guys talk about unity and all this stuff, the NHLPA sticking together, but you're actually the ones that are going out there and nailing the guy in the head or hitting the guy from behind or knee on knees, right?
Yeah.
So stop with that too altogether. I can't see these coaches sending a guy out and go, okay, you need to knee McDavid now. Yeah. Not anymore. Maybe, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, or whatever it was. But I just get rid of the nefarious play out there. Play the game, hard hits. Let's see it, and let's just play a game.
Yeah. And officials do your job, because if you're not, the players have to.
Yeah, the officials will unfortunately probably never do their job properly.
You love those refs. You talked about Kyle Connor earlier on. What is up with Kyle Connor? You know what? I can't even use analytics and statistics here. I usually don't, anyways. But I'm just going by the eye test. The team sucks. No one is playing well, and there's no rhythm or there's nothing going on anywhere with any of these players. There's no chemistry, not rhythm. There's no chemistry. So the whole team. I'm not going to put it on Connor. It's just garbage.
But like we said earlier, if the guy's scoring, you overlook some of his deficiencies. But he had one shot yesterday in the game, and that was yesterday. That was late in the game.
Yeah,
Scheifele ended up with none. And it's just like those are your top two guys, your top scorers, goal scorers, and yet they're not even in the picture. Like even yesterday, hey, hats out to Joel Hofer for getting the shutout, even though it doesn't technically count as his own shutout. But he didn't have a lot of tough shots to face. There was a lot of pucks thrown towards the net and tried to be tipped in that missed or whatever. So the effort offensively is not there. Defensively, these guys are lost. I don't know what Bonus is doing right now, but he needs to figure this out quick, or this ship is sinking. And if Calgary win tonight,
go ahead.
If Calgary win tonight, they're only within a couple points.
So we haven't figured out what's up with Kyle Connor.
No,
Jets upcoming week.
But that's the thing. It is a team. Has he checked out? Is he done? Is he not listening to what's going on in Bonus's head anymore? I don't know, man. Like he does not seem. Earlier in the year, he wasn't scoring, right? Like he was snake bitten, but he was getting chances, and you could see him putting that effort in to get that goal. Now he's not scoring, and that effort also does not seem like it's there. So something's up with this team, and it's not good.
Why don't you put what's his name on the first line center? Nemestikov. Drop Scheifele down to the second. Put Wheeler on the third line. Put Al Lowry on the fourth.
Really maybe you need to go back to.
You guys put Appleton on the first line how many weeks ago, and now you're afraid to put Wheeler down to the third and put Appleton on the second? What is going on here, man?
Well, Appleton is terrible too, though. So.
Well, so is Wheeler, and he's getting old and useless, and his feet aren't moving. Sorry to say useless. I'm sorry to make it personal, but look, that's what I see as a fan.
It might be time to maybe try and reunite Connor, Dubois, and Ehlers and see what they can do together. They had flashes and pretty good season last year together. Maybe it's time to put that one together and see what happens. And then throw Scheifele with Wheeler again and see where that goes.
Then you guys should be on lines 1 and 2 and then build around them already, because it's ridiculous. Blow that core up while you have a chance at the playoffs this year. Speaking of chance at the playoffs this year, Jets upcoming week. If they were ever going to tie the playoff spot, this is the week to do it. Coyotes, Ducks, Kings, Sharks, Red Wings, and then Devils. Like, you got to take 4 of those. Take 4 of those wins, and you have a playoff spot.
Have you seen the record of these teams lately, though? I mean, besides San Jose, but Arizona's 6-2-2 in their last 10. Like, they've actually been playing pretty good hockey, and they beat St. Louis last week or 2 weeks ago 6-2. So. Yeah. They're actually playing way better hockey than the Jets, and have won 4 in a row, 6 of their last 8.
But this is the week. It only gets harder after this week. This is the week.
If you were looking a month back and you looked at this week going, okay, no matter what's happening with the Jets, if they go into this week, they should be able to beat Arizona. They should be able to beat the Ducks. Who knows with the Kings, but they should be able to beat the Sharks as well. Now I'm not so sure. Like, these teams are riding high. The Kings are on a roll lately. They haven't lost since February 26th, and now they got Korpisalo, who has shut down the Jets already twice this year and has only allowed 2 goals in 76 shots.
Let's go.
So yes, I do agree. Arizona, they need to beat. Ducks, they need to beat. They need to try and get at least a point against the Kings, and they need to beat San Jose.
And beating the Red Wings would be nice too.
Yes, and the Red Wings at that point
hard.
too. So yeah.
I just hope
these are the games they need to win, because they're winnable games.
Yes.
They're against teams that aren't in the playoffs, but we just saw them blow one against a team in the playoffs yesterday and barely beat one on Saturday. So,
and they got to ride Halifax. Don't put Rittich in. I'm sorry. Do not put him in unless you're eliminated or you've got the spot.
That's the thing. The Carolina game, they probably win that with Halifax in.
Do you believe that?
So we said it last week when we talked. Just ride Halifax. Ride Hellebuyck until you've either clinched or you're eliminated. And then they switch right back to Radich. It's like, he's not there. He's not the type of guy that, has played good lately when he's been in. And you blew an opportunity to even steal a point out of that game.
How can a know-nothing Wu-Tang Clan fan see that, and a guy who's been coaching for 50 decades can't? I don't understand what's going on, man. This is so frustrating.
Rick Bowness was never a great coach. He had some good years in Dallas playing that system, and maybe the Dallas guys were just harder in that system to play against. And also maybe goaltending probably carried them more than they thought, right? So
yeah, and they had players who actually cared.
Yeah. So
oh my goodness.
These Jets are in trouble, man. Trouble.
I know. Let's talk about.
Sorry, before I say it, both the Ducks and the Kings tonight play the Flames this week. So and that's before the Jets play these teams. So hopefully, maybe they can help the Jets out a little bit.
Yeah, it's quickly slipping out of the Jets' control.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Before we move on to some CFL and Bombers talk, let's address James Reimer and the rainbow jerseys. I guess I'll go first. I really think this guy is a dink for not wearing these jerseys. Like, and then for using I'm going to use the Bible as an excuse to hate people. Like, give me a break. The jerseys are actually auctioned off with the proceeds going to adolescent counseling services. Like, these are services that save people's lives. And this asshole can't put his religion excuse behind him and help a good cause out. It's unbelievable. And it's not even, and even if he said no, fine, but this Bible excuse, give me a break. This guy makes me sick.
I think every one of these guys think they can live behind this Bible excuse, and people will just go, okay, yeah, I hear you. But you know what? I can't say it any better than Brian Burke's response to this. Yeah. And his quote is, he's disappointed, paraphrase here a little bit, disappointed. But the biggest thing is he wishes players would understand that these sweaters are about inclusion and welcoming everybody.
Yeah.
Nothing else. A player wearing pride color or tape isn't endorsing a set of values or enlisting in cause. He is saying you are welcome here and you are in every single NHL building. That is it. You can't say it any better than that, than Brian Burke has said it right there.
Absolutely.
You're trying to make people feel welcome. If Reimer had a teammate right now who was gay, who was like, okay, this is my opportunity. We're going to wear these pride jerseys. I'm going to come out and say something. And now you got Reimer saying this. You're like, no, you know what? I'm not going to do it now because of this clown right here.
Absolutely.
And then his comments about Kadri and Muslim and all that stuff. It's like, dude, where are you going with this? Like, think about it. Think about it. That's all you got to do, man. Think about it. Use your brain.
He doesn't think. Does this jerk work on Sunday?
Exactly.
Sinner, you're going to hell. Sorry, Reimer. What a clown. CFL Blue Bombers talk. Let's talk about something fun and good. Actually, it's not too fun. This is a hard situation with the CFL. A lot of people believe, and rightfully so, that Halifax is a pipe dream. An Electric Schooner team is possibly a disaster. If that is the case, and they are having trouble finding an owner and finding a place to play, where would be a good market to go for that 10th team?
It's funny when you say that, because I just read today too that the league was thinking about owning the team and putting it in Atlantic Canada. I'm like, no. I mean, you're not the NFL for one thing. You don't have billions of dollars coming in and out.
No.
So that would be quite on shaky ground. We saw them own Montreal, and that was not a good thing, right? So no, I don't know, man. I was looking, besides, if you can't find anywhere else in Atlantic, I mean, where's your other options? Quebec City?
Yeah.
Like if you can get enough people behind that can also support the Owls, and then you could start maybe a nice rivalry with Quebec City, go back to the NHL days with that rivalry kind of thing. But to me, that's your only other option.
That's who I'm picking. Like, Victoria also, but they're smaller than Halifax.
Yeah.
Quebec City has like 240, 250 more people than Halifax. And like you said, there's an automatic rivalry with the Owls. They already have a facility with Laval University. That's a 12,000 seat facility that they can just plug and play. Maybe upgrade the dressing rooms for now. And then if you want to have a Grey Cup or if you want to expand like they were planning on doing Halifax, you already have something solid there.
Yeah.
Like it's already CFL ready. If you want to be honest, for a market like Quebec City, and you have a great attachment to the Laval program that's legendary in not CIAU, whatever U Sports it is
CIS.
now.
Yeah.
No, the U Sports it changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be Can Sports. I don't know, but it would be a beneficial and exciting partnership. So I think Quebec City would be perfect.
Yeah, it's finding that owner. You know what else is out there in Quebec besides Quebec or that time they're buying Montreal, right?
Yo, that's a 2 million person city. They got to have more money in that. Come on now, for sure. Someone's got to own a team in Quebec City. That'd be pretty sweet. I'd go for that road trip.
Yeah, I mean, and if the league is intent on, I think part of the problem is the league really wants to see that Atlantic team, right? That's Randy Ambrosi when he first started as commissioner, he was probably like, this is my goal, this is my dream. I need to make this happen. And now he's seeing it not probably happening. So he wants to push it over that line, but doing a league-owned team to force something in there.
Take your blinders off. Idea. Go to Quebec City. The Maritimes thing. Come on now. Put on the shelf. Put on the shelf. We're going to talk about a little Blue Bomber fun talk. If you're choosing, we started this off with the triplets, quarterback, receiver, running back, but like Milt Stiegel is almost like an automatic. So we'll go for the quads. We'll go quarterback, wide receiver, running back, all time. Who are you taking from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? I'll let you go first.
You know, I know there's guys like Kenny Payne and all that, Dieter Brock, but I don't. I obviously didn't see Kenny Payne playing or Dieter Brock. I don't really remember. So I'm going to go with a guy that I saw quite a bit, and the excitement was there. He had a bunch of yards. I'm going with Kahari Jones. I know he didn't end up with a Grey Cup or anything like that, but that offense with him at the helm was just something to watch and something exciting to watch. And it went well with Milt Stiegel, who was a great, obviously, wide receiver there.
Yeah. Don't worry about not seeing them. Heck, if we're doing this for NFL, I take Jim Brown in a second, and I didn't see a lick of that guy. For quarterback, I'm going to take Ralph Dieter Brock. The guy was MOP or MVP at the time in the CFL in 80-81. He still owns the Bomber passing records for over 29,000 yards. So I'm going to go Ralph Dieter Brock for quarterback.
Yeah, Kahari was second there, so
almost.
And to me, like Zach Claris obviously has the Grey Cups. You know, not as much yards kind of thing. So,
yeah, I just that Dieter Brock, imagine him throwing the ball to Milt Stiegel. Oh, my goodness. So Milt Stiegel is one of the receivers. I'm going to start off with the other receiver, and this might be a surprise. No disrespect to Joe Poplawski. No disrespect to James Murphy, but I'm going to take Arlen Bruce the third, 11th in the league in all-time receiving receptions, 11th all-time in receiving yards, 5th all-time in receiving touchdowns. That was a surprise to me. I'm going to take Arlen Bruce, although his career was all over the place. I'm going to take Arlen Bruce as that second receiver. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going with our guy, James Murphy. He's been on the podcast. Great interview. But you know what? He's one of those guys I remember from back in when I was younger, watching football and just enjoying watching him play.
Yeah.
And knowing that if he was having a wicked game, chances are the Bombers are winning. You know, and it was just he was so fun to watch.
Yeah, he was one of the OG goats.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, those 80s teams. Talking about 80s teams, we might have another player here at running back. I didn't pick him. I had to be a homer and take the Winnipegger, Andrew Harris, as the running back. Like, he was like the foundation that these championship teams were built upon. He's that Winnipegger that came home and helped get the team over the edge. So I can't go play, and he has a lot of yards. And he's a three times in a row Grey Cup winner and Canadian MOP, whatever, in the Grey Cup twice. Andrew Harris.
I agree with you on that to a sense, but I'm going to take Charles Roberts.
Fair.
Man, that guy, he was just exciting to watch. And there was some Bomber teams, you know, around when he was playing that weren't very good, you know. Yeah. So, but he just always bring it. And to me, if that guy put in half the effort that probably Andrew Harris did, you know, what kind of player could he have been? Because he was those type of guys that could just go out there. He probably could have weighed 300 pounds and he still probably would have got those yards, you know, like he just didn't care about the workout side of things, right?
No, he would have been like pinball. But I remember talking about Arlen Bruce. I remember seeing Arlen Bruce and Charles Roberts at Euphoria having a good time in Winnipeg, Canada. Free plug.
Probably had a game the next day.
Oh, probably. And rush for over 100.
Yeah.
Charles Roberts had 1,000-yard season every year except for his rookie year and his last year. That's crazy.
And I'm still bitter about that last year that they traded him away before the 10,000.
It was so mess seeing him in that BC uniform. It was so hard to watch that, and also at the same time watch him kind of not decline, but he just didn't have that step. He was not as blink-ish.
No, I mean, if you're not working out and all that stuff, that's going to catch up to you as you age, right?
Yeah.
You can maybe get away with it in your 20s to your 30s kind of thing, but
yeah,
once you hit 30, if you're not working out, like ask Andrew Harris. If Andrew Harris didn't work out and do all this stuff he does, is he still playing today? No.
We got to find out how many times Charles Roberts hit that gym during the week.
We should get Charles Roberts on.
Oh, friends, if anyone knows how to get hold of Charles Roberts, we got a seat for him right here on Ray and Benny Talk Sports.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why I leaned in to say that.
Yeah.
Let's move on. That's a little creepy. Let's move on to NFL talk. Which NFL team is having the best offseason so far? I'll start off. I'll go with the Detroit Lions. They're having a crazy offseason, and they're a pretty tough team before, but their defense, they got a safety, Gardner Johnson from the Eagles, who can also play the slot, and he can play all over the secondary. He had a great Super Bowl. They got David Montgomery from Chicago, who's a power back. Great compliment to Swift. Talking about Charles Roberts, remember Mike Sellers, Thunder and Lightning. Yeah. They got that going on there. Emmanuel Mosley, your boy from San Francisco, a solid outside cornerback. Y'all lost him for an ACL in week 5. He's going to be there. Steeler fan, he got Cam Sutton, a great starting physical cornerback who can play all over the field, good at run support. And they brought back Graham Gaslow on the O-line. And they have picked 6, 14, 48, and 55. Detroit Lions.
I'm probably going to regret this, but I am not that I'm agreeing with you, but I have them as well. And I don't know, like the Lions to me are just, they're a loser franchise, right? Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, this is their year to finally do it. And I feel like they're just going to let everybody down. But I agree with you on this. Like all those moves, like they had a great offense. Or pretty good offense, right? Even with Jared Goff. And as long as Goff can do what he has to do, they should be okay. But they needed to address those players on the defense. And they did with safety Gardner Johnson, with Emmanuel Mosley. I hate that the Niners lost him, but I get it. They can only pay so many guys. And they just, the moves they made, like they lost Jamal Williams, but you brought in David Montgomery, who's younger and can do a little bit more. And Williams to me was a guy that can punch it in from the one. Well, Montgomery is that guy too.
Yeah.
So you didn't lose anything there. And like you say, all those draft picks now, if they can hit on those draft picks, that freaking Rams pick, I'm glad the Rams don't have it, being a Niner fan. But I mean, number 6.
Yeah,
and the Rams are thinking, wow, we're never going to finish that low, right?
And you did.
Yeah. So to me, I got to agree. The Lions look like they're in the driver's seat, especially with the NFC North looking the way it is right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly.
This is their time. If it's not going to happen this year for the Lions, it's never going to happen. And I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I'm seeing a good season and playoffs getting better.
Yes, absolutely. I'm cheering for them, Lions. I'm cheering for them. What? Why not? They're in the NFC. They've been horrible for so long. Like, I love that coach, Dan Campbell. He has all that great energy. Why not? I'll cheer for them.
I just feel like, they're the Lions still. Unfortunately, in the back of my head, they're still the Lions.
I know, but they just
they got great receivers.
They seem different. And this Graham Glasgow guy that they brought back from the O-line, he's a guy that they had before. Mm-hmm. Like, when's the last time you heard of someone wanting to go back to Detroit?
Yeah,
something's changed there.
It's Dan Campbell, right? It's Dan Campbell, because even what did he coach Miami interim, right?
Oh, no doubt, he was pumped. Yeah,
that's right. And guys wanted to play for him.
Yeah,
and in New Orleans, guys wanted him. Guys followed him from New Orleans over, right?
So, absolutely. Good for
him. But that Gardner Johnson signing, for what they signed him for 1 year, $8 million or whatever is that threw me over the edge right there. Because once I saw that, I'm like, these guys right now, you can talk about Chicago, the Bears, and all the moves they've made, but we just don't know where that's going to go, right? Detroit was on their proper trajectory, and now you bring these guys in, and you think they're just going to keep going that way. So it'd be interesting to see.
I think so. Is Ndamukong Suh still available?
He is. I mean, he was with the Eagles last year. I think he just signed a 1-year deal, so maybe he's going back.
Go back to Detroit. Everyone go back to Detroit. Barry Sanders, go back to Detroit. I love watching
Barry,
Detroit.
come back.
Barry. Let's stay in the NFC North. By the way, Detroit Lions fans, if you're watching, give us a subscribe. We just gave your team lots of love. Detroit Lions love. Subscribe below. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. We might not get Packer love here, but any which way, it doesn't matter. Right, wrong. He's a little frustrated. Trade with the Jets. Crazy happenings. Is Aaron Rodgers worth a first rounder? You lead this one off, man.
Well, apparently his intentions, as he came out of his darkness retreat, is to play for the Jets and only the Jets. But no trade has been agreed on. Rodgers says that the Packers right now are holding things up with the trade compensation and all that. So yeah, his comments were fine. Like, I have no issue with him coming out, being honest. Like, I don't, the way he comes out and says stuff though, like even on Pat McAfee's show, and he just likes to flip it on other people all the time. Like, he's not the bad person. Like, it's Green Bay now that's a bad person because they're holding up the trade. Well, Green Bay doesn't need to agree to anything quickly here, right? They can hold out and try to get as much as possible. And if the trade doesn't go through, it only screws the Jets, doesn't screw the Packers.
Yeah.
You know, and apparently if they trade him after June 1st, it helps them cap-wise. So to me, your question, is he worth a first rounder? Not necessarily. I say no because we don't know if he's going to last longer than a year. If you knew Rodgers was going to stick around for at least a couple seasons, then yeah, total first rounder. Right now, maybe 20 to 30th pick kind of thing, first rounder, but nothing higher than that. But even right now, I'd be skeptical of sending a first.
I don't think he's worth the first rounder. I don't think he's worth the $60 million that's owed to him. The New York Jets have to restructure that deal. That's crazy. They're close to the cap as it is with all this nonsense happening. So they got to figure out how to get him under a new contract. He's not worth $60 million. And he's definitely not worth a first rounder. I don't care if he plays another 2-3 years. He regressed last year. He regressed, and he's not a championship quarterback like Tom Brady. He loses in big games. He's a stat quarterback for the past times he's won the MVP. He's a stat quarterback. I'm sorry to say, he's been in a weak ass division. The NFC hasn't been that strong for the past 4 or 5 years where he was like the MVP, you know, and they kept messing up in big games in the playoffs. He's not worth a first rounder.
Like, going back to Brady a bit, like Brady didn't have the greatest of seasons in his last Pats season, right? Before he went to Tampa, and you're thinking, oh, he's washed, right? And that's probably what the Niners probably thought, because otherwise they would have signed him instead of signing Garoppolo to a long-term contract. But Brady ended up having a wicked season, right? And leading Tampa Bay to I was going to say Grey Cup, Super Bowl. But that's the thing with Rodgers. He didn't have it last year. He was with a bunch of new wide receivers and they couldn't connect, you know? And then so you're thinking, okay, Devontae Adams left. Devontae Adams still had a wicked year stats wise, right? It didn't work out for the Raiders, you know, in the standings. But Rodgers suffered without Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And Rodgers was always good with the guy that could improvise, you know, like Jordy Nelson, all those guys, Driver, all those guys that would know Rodgers and his tendencies kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get that in New York right away. I know they got Adam Lazard so he has some familiarity there, but you're not going to get that right away with these guys. So
no,
he may struggle like Favre did when he went to the Jets and struggled for a bit. So
not worth a first rounder. Not worth a first rounder. Not worth a first rounder.
But you know what? I don't even begrudge the Packers for sitting there going, send me a first and we'll see what happens.
Why not? They have to see what they can get. They have to do what's best for their team.
No.
Let's move on to hot topics. Stephen A. Smith says the Rangers don't really count as a team that's contending for a championship. Thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all, because this is how what do you want to call them? Sports personalities in the States think, right? Top personality. They care about football first, then basketball, then baseball, and then it's like hockey's way down at the bottom somewhere. They don't care. And to me, that's terrible. And that's why hockey won't grow as well as these other sports at all.
Yeah, this is nonsensical. They have to force their employees to learn hockey. This is a major broadcast partner with the NHL. Like, come on, dude. Americans still have tails on the pucks on TV. I was watching the Jets game and there's a tail comment on the puck. Give me a break. Like, come on, grow up, ESPN. Learn some stuff about hockey, Stephen A. Smith. Talking about media outlets, Sportsnet excludes CFL teams Edmonton and Saskatchewan on St. Patty's Day celebration of green jerseys. Thoughts on that? I think it's par for the course. Sportsnet has been trash coverage on the CFL since they've actually hit the airwaves. I'm not surprised that a company owned by Rodgers provides shitty coverage for Canadians. So it is what it is.
Yeah, to me, not shocked at all. And you want to talk about Stephen A. Smith and them not caring about the NHL. That's how Sportsnet, TSN think about the CFL. They don't care about it. And it's unfortunate because there are two top sports stations in this country, and you want them to embrace this product that we have here that is Canadian, and it's pretty good football. Like, honestly, if you talk to a lot of people, even fans in the States that are kind of catching on and growing, they love it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't get these two stations in Canada. Like, how do you have this poll on Twitter or wherever it was and not include the iconic jerseys of the Edmonton Elks, and Saskatchewan Roughriders, especially the Roughriders of all teams. Like, they're green. You know, like everyone wears this stuff all over Canada, man.
Give me a break, Sportsnet. They've been off point on the CFL since day one.
They don't care. And
bottom line, they don't care. Adam Thielen signs with Carolina. Thoughts?
Nah, this doesn't do anything for me, man. You know, like, I don't know who the quarterback is in Carolina. Is going to be Andy Dalton. Is going to be a rookie. Thielen was falling off last year already. The guy talks about, hey, I went here to win and win a Super Bowl. It's best for my family. It's like, dude, you went there because they gave you the most money. And that's
absolutely. Yeah. It's almost time to retire. Props, get your money before you have to retire. But it sucks being forced to retire. So careful. There must have been other suitors, but yeah, Carolina, for some reason, paid a lot of money for an aging and hurting receiver.
Yeah, 3-year deal, and they gave him a bunch of guaranteed. So yeah, why wouldn't you take it?
Stupid. Where's the best spot for OBJ to land?
I'm gonna go with Kansas City.
Wow, I put Kansas City too. Why Kansas City?
Because you know what? He's not gonna get that long-term contract that he wants. Yeah. So take the 1-year deal in Kansas City, play with the best quarterback in the league, who needs wide receiver help. And build from there. You're 31. People don't believe that or have faith in you anymore that you can do what you used to do. Go prove it, and maybe sign an incentive-laden deal, but it could lead to greener pastures after the season.
I'm going to mention my B team, Baltimore, if they can stick on to Lamar Jackson. Benny, you got a brickhead?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carson Briere. You're my brickhead of the week. I know he's young, and it's tough to bang on these young guys because you hope they can learn from situations and that. But when you're tossed in a wheelchair down a flight of stairs at a bar where the bathroom is downstairs, and the person needs to be carried downstairs just to go to the bathroom. When you're tossing a wheelchair down the stairs, you're an idiot. You're a brickhead. You know, be better, man.
What a buffoon. What a buffoon. Let's talk about good people. Like, how can you do that to someone? Entitled piece of trash.
I don't care if you were drunk or how much you had to drink. It's wheelchair, man. You know, someone needs that wheelchair. Someone needs it. You know, it wasn't a drink. It wasn't anything else. So,
and of course, you know, he's from a nice little family. It's another story of rich boy rich boy does a little la la la. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's too bad for his dad right now. He's trying to get a GM job with the Flyers. So
let's talk about good people. Shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to the U of M Bison women's volleyball team for advancing to the national semifinals happening on Saturday. They beat number 3 ranked Mount Royal in the quarters, and they will be playing a national legendary powerhouse of UBC in volleyball. They have like 12 national championships, most in the country, in the semifinals on Saturday. Winner advancing to the finals on Sunday. So shout out U of M Bison's women's volleyball. Alma mater, Black Hole Theater. Where's your shout out?
I'm going to give a shout out to Daniel Hauser, who's the goaltender of the Winnipeg Ice, who just set a new franchise record for most wins in a single season at 37. Pretty good season so far for the Winnipeg Ice and Daniel Hauser. Hopefully they can take it far in the playoffs. So shout out to him.
They're just dominant. They're dominant. And I hope they find a way to figure out how to save that franchise and keep them here and do it properly. I don't think it's fully the owner's fault. They had to go through a pandemic, you know, when the team was just starting out.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't plan properly for their new space, but still that didn't help at all. So hope they get their stuff together.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast, and have a good week.
And in the famous words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.